Children in Need. Very good, very different.
And they've done lots of different campaigns this year, such as Joe Wicks did a PE challenge where he did just physical activity for 24 hours, so all day and all night. And it was, and he raised over £1.5 million doing that.
Hello, welcome back to another episode of Brightening Barrow. Today's episode, we're going to be focused on children in need, which was recorded, which was broadcast as a recording yesterday. I'm not entirely sure when it went out, but this video goes out, so it'll probably be a few days ago. And if you haven't watched it, chances are you can watch it again on BBC iPlayer. Before we start, just want to fix a couple of things. Just want to mention a couple of things from last episode. If you watched last episode, you'll know that I went on a walk and I incorrectly called Blackbeck. Yeah, that's wrong. We were thinking of somewhere else. It's actually Pokerbeck. And also, just as a side note, we mentioned Dalton St Mary's as a tower that you can ring in, and I ring there as well. So there'll be a couple of links to ringing websites where you can find various towers. You can learn how to do it if you want to get involved after the pandemic is finished or when ringing resumes. And if you're interested in that, let us know, and I might be able to help you, because as I mentioned in the video, I ring myself. But enough with last episode. Children in Need. Very good, very different. Yes, whether you watched it or not, I watched some of it, but it was the same Children in Need, sort of, except this year it was only one programme, which was 3 hours long, so still good cause though. It was presented by Mel Gedroich, Alex Scott, Chris Ramsey and Stephen Mangum, but of course if you watched it you will already know that. So where to start? Do you know how much they raised this year? It's quite a lot in the grand scheme of things, but obviously slightly reduced due to COVID. But do you know what the total was?
It was about 37 million or something like that.
It's quite impressive, especially as that's quite impressive, but especially as the first year that they did it, which is actually why we're doing it. We're doing Children Need. We're doing it for 2 reasons. One, it was yesterday, and 2, it was 40 years. Yes, so it started in 1980 with BBC, and it was presented by Terry Wogan, Sue Lawley, and I'm going to butcher this name, but Esther Ranson, something along those lines. I'm terrible with names. And that raised 1 million. It was a dramatic increase of 1 million to what Children have already got. So it's gone quite a long way, but I suppose it would have been 40 years. There's so much to say, I don't know where to start. Don't know where to start.
Start with just what happened, I guess.
Right, you've got the summary up, haven't you?
Yes.
Okay. So there's a lot to talk about with Children in Need. We're going to start with what happened this year. Obviously, this year being the 40th year, as I've mentioned. We're going to start here, and I think we'll work backwards, talking about interesting things that have happened in the previous years to where it started, or maybe we'll work forwards. I haven't quite decided yet as we're recording this. So, Maisie, do you want to tell us what happened this year?
Yes. This year there was a big show, as there is every year. And obviously it was different this year because it was social distanced, which, is difficult, and it was a bit of a different atmosphere, but obviously it's still a really good cause, and I think you can probably still donate, I'm assuming. So yeah, if you should do that if you can. There was exclusives from EastEnders, Strictly, and Doctor Who, and I think Shawn Mendes sang a song. There was also Cinderella the musical was there doing a song as well, and they've done lots of different campaigns this year, such as Joe Wicks did a PE challenge where he did just physical activity for 24 hours, so all day and all night. And it was, and he raised over £1.5 million doing that. It's also the 10th year of the Rickshaw Challenge, which this year was social distanced. So they did the usual 332 miles, but it was over a racetrack instead of being usually over just the roads around Britain. And the Act Your Age campaign, where people turn their age into a challenge. So, for example, on here they've said about Zira, who's 23 and built 23 sandcastles. And that's it. I thought there was something else, but there wasn't.
So not only have we had the live broadcast, but there have also been plenty of other people doing things. You may have done it yourself, but what sort of things can you be getting up to support children in need? Well, obviously there's the Rickshaw Challenge. You would know about it if you took part in that. But also all sorts of people can raise money for children in need and then donate it. And the schools in the local area have done really quite well in that area. So we're just going to have a brief look at sort of which schools raised a lot. Well, we're just going to give you a quick overview of what the schools have been doing. And I've picked. Do you have this up as well?
Yes.
Okay, that's good. I've not actually read this yet. Okay, if I say something, I'll continue from the skill thing, and then do you want to just pick up with stuff that I haven't said?
Okay.
Chances are I'll probably just leave out which skills there are and how much they donated, and what sort of thing they're doing. So the schools in the local area have been getting very busy. They've been doing all sorts of things. I think we've got a short list of which schools and how much they raised, and obviously big thanks to them. That small schools, relatively small donations, but it all makes a difference. Even if you only donated a pound or two, it really does make a difference. But they were doing all sorts of things. Also, you've got the non-uniform days where you bring in a pound or whatever. But most schools allowed open donations, so you could donate how much you wanted. And obviously, that's a great way of doing it, because then you're not forcing it. People can donate however much they want, allowing them to accommodate things. Other schools did various dressing up things. There was all sorts of games that were raised. And there was hundreds of pounds being raised by each school. It was really great sort of thing. So a lot of the schools, as I say, either did non-uniform or did fancy outfits. Maisie, you mentioned about the Joe Wicks challenge. One school took part in that. Well, obviously didn't do it for 24 hours, but they took part in the various challenges. There were various games with the teachers. It sounds like it was a really fun day for the children. Obviously, I wasn't there, so I don't know, but it was all for a good cause. Presumably, they enjoyed it, and you can read the news article. There should be a link in the description. Uh, so what schools were there then? Do you want to talk us through that?
Well, I'm sure that most schools in the area have done their own raising money, but we've just got a small selection of them here. So Victoria Academy raised £235.50, which is very good. And they said that a lot of people brought in like £5 donations, which is really, really a lot of money to donate. So that's very, very good. Barrow Island Community Primary School has raised at least £200, so they haven't finished counting up totally yet, but they've raised at least £200, which is very good as well. And St John Barrow School has raised £240 so far. So yeah, it's very, very good.
So small list of schools, relatively small schools. I think they're all primary schools, which are relatively small.
Yeah.
But quite a large sum of money if you add it all together, and that's how children need kids going. And obviously everyone knows, or say everyone knows, but most people know what it is, and that's why you donate. Because you know it's normally we would talk about what it is, but I feel it's such a big thing. I don't know whether it is necessary, but I suppose we could just go a quick overview of what children need actually is, other than, well, it is what it says in the tin. It helps children in need, to be fair. But yeah, do you want to give us a quick overview of children in need? Like I said, most people already know what it is, but we might as well do it anyway. You weren't expecting that, were you?
I don't really. Does it just raise money for children who are in hospital? I don't really know. I've never actually heard about it. I don't actually know what the money. I'm assuming it's children because Pudsey had his little bandana around, doesn't he?
If you go to the Wikipedia page,
Right.
the first paragraph, BBC Children in Need, also promoted as Clan Iwan in Wales, BBC UK charity since 1980, 1 billion disadvantaged children and young people when adjusting to the years of 2020's inflation and then a lot of money from 1980 to 2019. The first paragraph says, highlights of the TV thing. There's Terry Wogan was a host for 35 years. Sir Terry Wogan. 35. That's only in the first two paragraphs of Wikipedia, and I don't approve of Wikipedia.
I'm on Wikipedia and I can't find it.
The first two paragraphs. Go to the top.
The first two paragraphs say it's a BBC UK charity.
Yeah, that's all. It's from the BBC.
I thought it was going to tell me what.
1980.
Just like
Raised over 1 billion. Started by Sir Terry Wogan. Hosted it for 35 years, etc., etc., etc.
Okay.
Don't need to say.
I thought you wanted me to like tell you a detailed description of what exactly it raises money for, and I did not know that.
Summarise the first two paragraphs.
Okay.
Summarise these paragraphs using the pedal format. This is going to make a great. Great. Do you want to cut this section out and send it to me? I can stick it in the website. It's basically clips of us trying to work out. We do know what children in need is. Right, yeah. Do you want to summarise the first two paragraphs?
Yeah, right.
Off you go.
Okay. Right. I'm serious now.
Right. So do you want to tell us just a little bit about children need? Just summarise what it is, because obviously most of us already know what it is. Just a quick story.
Yeah, it's a UK charity which is owned by the BBC, and it's raised over £1 billion for disadvantaged children and young people across the UK. It's obviously the mascot is Pudsey Bear, which we all know, and it was hosted every year by Sir Terry Wogan for 35 years, which is a very long time. And every year it does a telethon. I don't know what a telethon is, but it does one of those every year.
Large TV, it's a large TV event. I mean,
Oh, yes.
usually it's broadcast over a few days, a few programs of it, and there is all sorts. But obviously, as I said at the beginning, there was just one program, which was 35 hours, which was 3 hours. That was due to COVID restrictions. Hopefully, when we come to Children in Need next year, it'll be back to the original format. I say back to the original format. Back to the usual format with multiple programs, much longer, and hopefully we won't have all the problems with social distancing, but we don't know. And we're trying not to talk about that in this episode. We're focusing on the good thing that children need. Actually, it is the only charity that belongs to the BBC. Things like Red Nose Day and Sport Relief are supported by Comic Relief, which isn't associated with BBC. It's just put out on BBC. Yes, it's the only charity that actually belongs to the BBC.
Oh, should we talk about this?
But
Children in Need.
What this is.
Children in Need have matched a £10 million donation by Stormzy to fight racial inequality in the UK.
Yes.
Yes.
Why not? Do you want to just say that again, basically?
This year, Children in Need have matched Stormzy's £10 million donation to help fight racial inequality across the UK, which will be used over the next 10 years. And it's, that's not what I was going to say then.
No, yeah,
I'll cut that bit off.
Children, it's not just about hospitalised children. It has got quite a large spectrum of what it helps with. Any young person or child in need is usually supported by children in need. It's usually supported by children in need.
Oh, they also provide funding to 3,000 charities and projects across the UK.
Good. Children in need being such a big thing, it attracts attention to a lot of people. I say it attracts attention. A lot of people are involved in helping out, and one of those is Blue Peter. I mean, chances are you all know who Blue Peter is. Blue Peter's been running for many years, and is still going today. I think they did a special and raised money for children in need. Do you have any information on that? Do you want to tell us about it?
This year they've created a 3D book for children who are blind or partially sighted, and they've been talking about British Sign Language, and I think one of the presenters was trying to learn it in order to better communicate with children who have hearing impairment, which is very, very good. And they're trying to encourage children to be more curious and try something new for this year.
Great, encouraging all sorts of Blue Peter usually is. We're not advertising Blue Peter, but I would definitely recommend it. It's great. I remember watching it as a child. It's still on. Did you ever watch it? I
didn't actually, no. I never watched TBBC, I don't think.
You missed out. Blue Peter.
I watched Horrible Histories a little bit, which I think was on CBBC, but I didn't really watch anything else on there.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a shame. Blue Peter was great. Really, really brilliant. They did all sorts. So, Children in Need, as I said at the very beginning, started in 1980 and therefore has been going for 40 years. But I would say, just from research, it really kicked off in 1985. It was registered as a charity here in the UK in 1985, later in 2006, I think it was, for Scotland. But in 1985, that was also when they first used the Pudsey logo, which has obviously changed over the years. It's quite an interesting change from where it started out as to what Pudsey is known as today. It was also in 1985 that they started releasing Children in Need singles, the songs. So from 1985 all the way up to the current 2020, they've released at least one song each year. Last year, I think it was done by a group of celebrities. I think it was mainly actors and actresses. Released an album filled with various songs. It was quite an interesting documentary that I watched from it. You may have seen it. You may have heard that. Still, all sorts of people, all sorts of really famous songs. Again, that was in aid of children in need. So, despite it started in 1980, I'd say that it really kicked off in 1985. Back to the Future. That was in 1985 as well. Knew I recognised it. 1985. Brilliant year. Back to the Future. We're not talking about Back to the Future. I could do an entire series based on Back to the Future and other films. I'm not going to. Okay. I think we've covered it all, to be fair. Yeah, so it's children in need is it's one thing. Hopefully, we've talked about it long enough. I say we've talked about it long enough. We should have filled an episode with it by now. There is so much to talk about. We've only really briefly touched the surface of what it is, what it's done. That's because we don't really have time to do an in-depth explanation of children in need. But there's all sorts of websites, all sorts of people doing all sorts of things. If you haven't got involved in this year, I'll definitely recommend doing it for next year. And I don't know whether you can by the time that this episode goes out. But it really is a great way to do. So yeah, it's definitely an important topic to talk about. Would you say? Yes? No?
What?
Do you agree with what I've said?
I don't know what you said. Yes, I do agree.
Yes,
I agree.
right, yes. Yeah, children need, very important. So,
yes, they are very important.
We've only talked about one thing in this episode. As I said, it is quite a large topic. So we're now going to move straight on to the good news stories this week. So, Maisie, do you want to start us off with one?
Do you want to start? Because you've got 3 and I've got 2.
Okay, so I'm going to start this time. Now, Brightening Barrow, it's very local. So, apart from 2 cases, or 2 large cases, the first one is this news story, because this takes place in Kendal. And the second one is the walks that we do with Brightening Barrow. So that is going to become sort of the mini-series that you can see exclusively on the website. That will start in December. And I know I've just got sidetracked, but I thought it was relevant. Yeah, so Kendal. Kendal hold a mountain festival, which this year, due to COVID, was hosted online, and that was also with Children in Need. 40 years. That's been running for 40 years. So it's good that smaller local festivals like that are still going ahead despite of COVID. Obviously, you've got the large scale things we've been talking about. Children in Need. They obviously went ahead, but it's good to know that certainly smaller festivals, smaller groups still go ahead in spite of the pandemic. Obviously, following all the guidelines, which is why this was done online.
Barrow and Ulverston have been captured in artwork to celebrate the 25th anniversary of the opening of the company J.F. Hornby and Co. So, as they've been open for 25 years, a local artist called Amy Whelan has created some pictures which are of iconic monuments from the local area, such as the what's the Hode's real name? Is it Sir John Barrow Monument?
Yeah, so the monument is Sir John Barrow Monument, the Sir John Barrow Monument, and the hill is called the Hode.
Yes. Such as that, and some other things. I had them a second ago, and now I can't find them. Hang on, I will find them. Oh, there we go. The Coronation Hall, the Birkrigg Stone Circle, Barrow AFC's Holker Street Stadium, Barrow Town Hall, and the Devon Stock Hall. And yeah, obviously it's very good and that's the end.
Very good.
I was going to say they were selling them, but they're not.
Sticking with the theme of our street and pictures, the Males Camera Club. Bit of an odd topic, I know, but you may have heard of it, you may not. But they were taking some pictures inspired by the countryside in our area, so the Furness area. If you want to get involved with the Camera Club, there'll be a link to this article that I found, where you can check out the pictures that they've uploaded, and it will also tell you how you can join the Camera Club. So if you're interested in photography, I would recommend that. I say I would recommend that, I'm not interested. But it sounds like a good idea if you're into photography.
8-year-old Zach McBride, who's from Walney, has won the Christmas light switch on competition, and he has got 1,101 votes in the competition, which was on Facebook, and he even got support from the Manchester United midfielder Juan Mata. I'm going to assume that's how you pronounce it. And he was nominated by his family friend Lynn Ashton, as this year he underwent a second heart operation at the Alder Children's Hospital in Liverpool. And he said when he found out he had to have the other operation that he wanted to raise money for the British Heart Foundation. And his school, Vickerstown Primary, has raised £1,629 for the British Heart Foundation. After they ran a charity raffle. I think they did a sponsored run or something like that. And so obviously it's great that he's won. And he also got support from the MasterChef winner Simon Wood and Brad Singleton from the Wigan Warriors.
Very, very interesting. We're going to finish our news stories with quite a short one. That is, obviously, you remember we had bonfire nights a week ago? 10 days ago, sort of. Well, as of recording, it's sort of 9 days ago. I don't know. It was a week or so ago. Obviously, fireworks are still going ahead. People organise them. So the profits of one firework organisers, they were donated to Barrow Food Bank, which I think we mentioned about the food bank and charity like that episodes ago. So that this is almost just a bit of an update. You can donate money to them definitely, like the firework organisers did. So I think that's all we've got time for today in this episode. We've talked about children in need specifically, and as we've said, that's quite an important topic, not only because of what the charity is, but because it has been running for 40 years, which is a fairly big milestone. Yeah, if you have any suggestions of something that you'd like us to talk about, any good news stories of your own, let us know. Get in touch, send us an email or message, direct message, or various social medias. As I briefly mentioned, last week I went on a walk. I'm going to be doing that as sort of mini series. This will be uploaded exclusively on the website. I'll be looking at local walks, so I'll be going up and around the local area, the Lake District. It seems a shame not to use it when it's right on our doorstep. I say that'll be exclusively on the website, and we'll be hopefully starting in December if restrictions allow it. I think that's everything. I don't know if you need. Is there anything else?
No, I don't think so.
I guess we'll finish.
Right, thank you for watching episode 11 of the Brightening Barrow podcast, where we aim to Brighton Barrow one stream at a time. There we go.
I just muted myself instead of stopping the recording. Brilliant! Oh, finished that just in time as well, because my background's going funny. Okay.